The mockery. The Grand Hall of the Galactic Federation sparkled with crystalline light, its vaulted ceiling recreating the majesty of a neutron star's birth in real time. Hundreds of delegates from across known space sat at curved tables of biomechanical alloys, their forms as varied as the planets they represented, some gaseous, some silicon-based, others with multiple limbs or sensory organs that defied human categorization. Yet despite their differences, they shared one common trait: an unmistakable look of condescension whenever humans were mentioned. Captain Alina Reyes stood at the speaker's podium, her navy blue Earth Defense Force uniform a stark contrast to the ornate regalia of the alien dignitaries. At 42, Alina was humanity's most decorated fleet commander, though the Federation barely acknowledged her rank. Her dark hair was pulled back in a regulation bun, and her eyes, sharp and unyielding, scanned the assembly with practiced calm. "Distinguished representatives," she began, her voice steady despite the undercurrent of whispers that filled the hall. "Earth has analyzed the anomaly approaching from the Perseus arm. Our calculations suggest it will reach populated space within 30 solar cycles. We believe this is not a natural phenomenon but an entity, one that consumes energy at an unprecedented rate." High Chancellor Vexnar of the Arcturus hegemony leaned forward, his crystalline exoskeleton catching the light. "And what would humans know of cosmic anomalies, Captain Reyes? Your species has barely managed sustainable fusion, while the rest of us harness quantum vacuum energy." Laughter rippled through the assembly, a cacophony of clicks, whistles, and modulated tones that the universal translator rendered as amusement at humanity's expense. Alina maintained her composure. "Chancellor, with respect, we've developed specialized detection systems that—" "Specialized," interrupted Ambassador Thrix, her gelatinous form pulsing with blue bioluminescence. "Your ships still use particle accelerators and electromagnetic shielding, practically medieval technology." More laughter. Alina felt her jaw tighten, but kept her expression neutral. "The Federation has monitored this anomaly for 3 cycles," continued Vexnar with a dismissive wave of his crystalline appendage. "Our finest minds classify it as a standard quantum fluctuation that will dissipate before reaching the Orion spur. Your detection systems must be malfunctioning." Alina tapped her datapad, and a holographic projection materialized above the central floor. The assembly fell silent as they observed a dark, undulating mass moving through space, leaving absolute darkness in its wake. Stars disappeared as it passed, not obscured, but simply gone. "This is not a quantum fluctuation," Alina said quietly. "We call it the void. It doesn't just pass through space, it erases it, and it's accelerating." The Federation's chief science director, a hovering collective of gas-filled membranes known as Ixthal, drifted closer to the projection. "Interesting visual effects, Captain. Your species has always excelled at entertainment, if nothing else." "This isn't a simulation," Alina replied, her patience wearing thin. "This is live data from our deep space array." "The array powered by fusion reactors," scoffed a reptilian delegate from the back. "The same reactors that can barely power your colony worlds." Alina switched the display to a star chart. "The void has already consumed 3 uninhabited systems. At its current trajectory, it will reach the Proxima Centauri colony first, then the Arcturus settlements, followed by the central worlds. Everything in its path simply ceases to exist." High Chancellor Vexnar made a sound that the translator interpreted as derisive snorting. "And I suppose Earth has a solution. Some primitive weapon you've cobbled together in your underground bunkers." Alina took a deep breath. This was the moment she'd been dreading. The real reason Earth had sent her. "We do have a defensive measure," she said carefully. "The EDF vessel Silent Thunder carries an experimental system capable of creating a localized pocket of altered physics, a space where the void's properties might be neutralized or reversed." The hall erupted in laughter again, louder than before. "Altered physics." Thrix's gelatinous form rippled with what appeared to be hilarity. Humans can barely understand standard physics, let alone alter it. Our scientists have been working on this technology for decades, Elena continued, raising her voice slightly to be heard over the mockery. Project Prometheus has demonstrated success in controlled environments. Project Prometheus. Vexnar repeated, his crystalline form vibrating with amusement. Named after one of your myths. How fitting. Tell me, Captain, does this silent thunder run on steam power as well? Perhaps you wind it up before battle. The assembly dissolved into chaos as delegates competed to make the most cutting joke about human technology. Elena stood rigid, letting the storm of ridicule wash over her. This was exactly what Earth's intelligence had predicted, exactly what they had counted on. The Federation response fleet has already been mobilized. Vexnar announced once the laughter subsided. Our quantum-fold battleships will investigate this void and disperse it if necessary. We appreciate Earth's concern, but this is a matter for advanced civilizations. Elena nodded once, her face expressionless. We understand, Chancellor. Earth will stand down and defer to the Federation's expertise. How refreshingly reasonable. Vexnar replied with what passed for a smile among his species. Perhaps humans are evolving after all. As Elena exited the Grand Hall, a slender figure fell into step beside her. Ceres, the vegan ambassador, and one of the few Federation members who treated humans with anything approaching respect. They shouldn't have dismissed you like that, Ceres whispered, silver eyes darting around to ensure they weren't overheard. Some of us have seen the data independently. The void is real. I know, Elena replied, keeping her voice low as they entered a quiet corridor. But the Federation won't accept help from a species they consider primitive. The response fleet leaves tomorrow, Ceres said. 30 of our most advanced warships. They truly believe they can disperse this thing like a cosmic storm. Elena stopped walking and turned to face the ambassador. And what do you believe, Ceres? The vegan's silver skin paled slightly. I believe that pride comes before destruction, Captain. A human saying, I believe. Indeed. And what would you say if I told you the silent thunder is already positioned at the edge of the Perseus arm? Ceres's eyes widened. Without Federation approval, that would be necessary. Elena finished for him. Sometimes the adults have to act while the children argue. The Federation will see this as an act of defiance. The Federation can call it whatever they want, if they survive. Elena checked her chronometer. I need to return to Earth Command. The void will reach the silent thunder's position in less than 12 hours. What exactly is this Project Prometheus? Ceres asked, curiosity overcoming caution. Is it real? Elena's lips curved in a small smile. Let's just say humans have been underestimated for a very long time. Sometimes, Ambassador, being underestimated is the greatest advantage of all. As she walked away, Elena activated her secure comlink. Command, this is Reyes. Operation Cassandra is proceeding as expected. The Federation took the bait. Complete dismissal, exactly as predicted. Understood, Captain, came the reply. Silent Thunder reports all systems green. They're in position and awaiting your command authorization. Tell Commander Ishikawa to stand by for Protocol 0 activation on my signal. Protocol 0, Captain, that's beyond your authorization level. Elena's expression hardened as she stepped into her shuttle. The Federation just sentenced billions to death because they couldn't stomach accepting help from humans. I'm making the call. Understood, Captain. May the stars watch over you. As her shuttle broke atmosphere, Elena watched the glittering Federation capital world shrink beneath her. The Grand Council chamber would still be filled with laughter and mockery. The sophisticated, advanced species of the galaxy comfortable in their superiority over the primitive humans with their fusion drives and electromagnetic shields. They had no idea what was coming. Not just the void, but what humanity was truly capable of when pushed to the edge. In the distance, beyond the range of Federation sensors, the silent thunder waited, a vessel that looked deceptively simple from the outside. No ornate design, no crystalline alloys, just functional human engineering that masked what lay within. The culmination of 200 years of secret research that had begun when humanity first realized they were not alone in the galaxy. 200 years of preparing for the day when being underestimated might save not just humanity, but all life in the galaxy. The Federation had laughed at human technology. Soon, they would pray for it to save them. The Reckoning. Commander Takeshi Ishikawa stood on the bridge of the Silent Thunder, watching the holographic display as the void approached. From this distance, it resembled a perfect sphere of absolute darkness, its edges so sharply defined it seemed unnatural, because it was. This was no cosmic phenomenon or spatial anomaly. This was something conscious, deliberate. Status report, he ordered, his voice echoing in the unnaturally quiet bridge. Unlike Federation vessels with their hundreds of crew members, Silent Thunder operated with a skeleton crew of 12, the minimum required to maintain the complex systems hidden beneath its unremarkable exterior. All systems nominal, Commander, reported Lieutenant Sarah Chen from the operations console. Prometheus core stable at 97%. Quantum buffers charging. Federation response fleet, Ishikawa asked, though he already knew the answer. Still assembling in the Arcturus system, Chen replied. ETA to intercept position, 18 hours. They'll be too late. Ishikawa nodded grimly. They were too arrogant to listen, too proud to act quickly. He turned to face the viewport, where the distant stars seemed to dim as the void approached. Open a channel to Captain Reyes. Elena's face appeared on the main screen, her expression solemn. Commander, I see it's accelerating. Yes, Captain. New calculations put it at our position in 53 minutes. The Proxima Centauri colony will be reached 6 hours after that. And then. I understand. Elena's jaw tightened. The Federation Council is still in session, still debating whether to even acknowledge our warnings. They've classified the Silent Thunder's position as a human provocation. Ishikawa almost laughed. Of course they have. And Protocol Zero. Elena hesitated before answering. Authorized. Earth Command has given us full discretion. If this works, Commander, everything changes. If it doesn't, then no one will be left to court-martial us, Ishikawa finished. Understood, Captain. Beginning Protocol Zero initialization. As the communication ended, Ishikawa turned to his crew. These were not just the best of Earth's defense force. They were the guardians of humanity's greatest secret. Ladies and gentlemen, he said quietly, today we rewrite the rules. For 2 centuries, humanity has listened to the galaxy mock our technology, our methods, our very existence. They've called us primitive, backward, barely evolved. All while we worked in the shadows, developing what they thought impossible. He activated the central console with his palm print, revealing controls that few humans had ever seen. Begin Prometheus core spin-up. Transition the ship to quantum state alpha. The lights on the bridge dimmed momentarily as power was diverted to systems that, according to the Federation's understanding of physics, couldn't possibly exist. Deep within the Silent Thunder, the Prometheus core, a sphere of dark material suspended in a vacuum chamber, began to rotate, slowly at first, then faster until it appeared motionless again, having transcended conventional motion. Core approaching critical resonance, announced Chen, her voice tight with concentration. Quantum fold initiating. Outside the ship, space itself began to ripple, as though reality was a pond, and someone had dropped a stone into it. The Silent Thunder, to any observer, would have appeared to blur, becoming indistinct as the fabric of space-time folded around it. The void has altered course, reported Tactical Officer Park. It's coming directly for us now. It senses the core. Ishikawa nodded. As expected, it feeds on energy, normal energy. It's never encountered anything like the Prometheus core before. The bridge crew watched in silence as the void accelerated toward them, hungry for this new power source it had detected. On the view screen, stars vanished one by one as the darkness approached. "Core at full resonance," Chen announced. "Ready for Protocol Zero activation." Ishikawa placed his hand on the final authorization panel. "Remember your training. Once we activate, conventional physics no longer applies. Trust your instruments, not your senses." He pressed his palm down firmly. "Activate Protocol Zero." For a brief moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then reality itself appeared to fracture. The viewports showed impossible colors as light bent in ways it shouldn't. Gravity fluctuated, causing objects to float momentarily before settling back down. Sound became visible as rippling waves across the bridge. "Quantum bubble stable," Chen reported, her voice echoing strangely. "The thunder is fully phased." On the external cameras, they watched as the void reached them, and then hesitated. The perfect sphere of darkness pulsed, as if confused by what it had encountered. "It doesn't understand what we are anymore," Ishikawa said softly. "We're no longer part of its reality." The void prodded at the quantum bubble surrounding the silent thunder, testing it like a predator might test unfamiliar prey. Tendrils of darkness extended toward the ship, only to recoil as they encounter the altered physics of the bubble. "Phase 2, ordered Ishikawa. "Activate the resonance cascade." Lieutenant Chen's fingers danced across her console. Resonance cascade initiated. Prometheus core inverting. The ship shuddered as the core's rotation reversed, creating a dissonance in the quantum field. The bubble surrounding the ship began to expand, pushing outward toward the void. Where the two forces met, reality itself seemed to scream. The darkness writhed and pulsed, trying to retreat from this unexpected resistance. "It's working," Park whispered in awe. "The void is actually retreating." Ishikawa watched the readings carefully. "Don't celebrate yet." Phase 3, full spectrum inversion. The core's hum deepened to a frequency below human hearing, felt rather than heard. The quantum bubble expanded further, now actively pushing into the void's territory. Where the bubble touched, the void didn't just retreat, it unraveled. Stars that had been consumed began to reappear, their light returning as the darkness receded. "Impossible," came a voice over the comm system. It was a Federation transmission, broadcasting on all frequencies. "What are you doing, human vessel? What is this technology?" Ishikawa recognized the voice of High Chancellor Vexnar, his usual arrogance replaced by shock and fear. "This, Chancellor," Ishikawa replied calmly, "is Project Prometheus, the technology you laughed at 12 hours ago." "How? This violates all known laws of physics." "No, Chancellor. It violates all laws of physics known to the Federation. Humanity has been researching quantum manipulation since before we joined the galactic community. We just never shared our findings. After all, we were just primitive humans, remember?" The silence on the comm channel was profound. On the view screen, the void continued to disintegrate as the quantum bubble expanded. What had been an unstoppable force of destruction was now retreating in what could only be described as panic. "Core stability at 82% and falling," reported Chen. "We can maintain this for another 20 minutes maximum." "Should be enough," Ishikawa replied. "The void is collapsing in on itself. Once the process begins, it can't stop." The bridge crew watched in silence as the ancient destroyer that had consumed countless stars began to implode, folding inward until it was no more than a point of darkness, and then nothing at all. "The void has been neutralized," confirmed Park, disbelief evident in his voice. "Complete destruction confirmed." Ishikawa exhaled slowly. "Deactivate Protocol Zero. Return the ship to normal space." As the quantum bubble collapsed and the Prometheus core spun down, reality reasserted itself. The impossible colors faded, gravity stabilized, and the laws of physics as most understood them returned. "Open a channel to the Federation Council," Ishikawa ordered. "Wide broadcast." When the connection was established, he faced the screen calmly. Federation Council. This is Commander Takeshi Ishikawa of the Earth vessel Silent Thunder. The entity known as the Void has been neutralized. All star systems are safe. You're welcome. The stunned faces of the council members stared back at him. High Chancellor Vexnar was the first to find his voice. How did you? What was that technology? Ishikawa allowed himself a small smile. Just primitive human ingenuity, Chancellor. The same technology you've been mocking for decades. Why did you keep this hidden? This changes everything we know about physics, about reality itself. Would you have listened if we tried to explain? Ishikawa asked quietly. Or would you have dismissed it as human fantasy? Perhaps tried to take it from us by force. The Chancellor had no response. Humanity developed the Prometheus core in secret because we had to. Ishikawa continued. Not as a weapon, but as a shield. We knew someday we might face something beyond conventional defense, something like the Void. Today proved we were right. Ambassador Thurix pushed forward on the screen. The Federation demands access to this technology immediately, for the good of all species. No, Ishikawa replied simply. The Prometheus technology remains with Earth until the Federation recognizes humanity as a full and equal partner in the galaxy. No more dismissal, no more mockery, no more treating us as primitives who stumbled onto the galactic stage. He leaned forward, his expression hardening. The next time you laugh at human technology, remember this day. Remember what that primitive technology saved you from. The communication ended, leaving the Federation Council in stunned silence. On the bridge of the Silent Thunder, Ishikawa received an incoming transmission from Earth Command. Captain Rice appeared on screen, a rare smile on her face. Well done, Commander. The Federation's response fleet has changed course. They are heading to your position now. Not as an attack force, but as an escort. It seems the Council has had a change of heart regarding humanity's status. Ishikawa nodded. Amazing how near extinction can clarify one's thinking, Captain. Indeed. Return to Earth at your discretion, Commander. There's going to be a lot of explaining to do. As the Silent Thunder set course for home, Ishikawa gazed out at the stars. Stars that would have been extinguished if not for the technology the galaxy had laughed at. Humanity had kept its greatest achievements hidden, waiting for the moment when they would be needed most. That moment had come, and the galaxy would never look at humans the same way again. They had laughed at human technology. Now they would learn from it.